Okay, so today what we've been doing here is fitting these work lights. You can use them as work lights off the remote, which is the way I'm going to have them on this truck in particular. Or if you really want to blind people, you can use them as reverse lights. So yeah, they are super cool, and I will show you. How they work. Okay, so what I'm going to start off by doing is to remove the trim around the sports bar first of all. So easiest thing, we trim tool, get it in and just pry along. Oh, this should come off. I was going to say handy enough, but it's far from handy. So yeah, that will release this part of it. So we then move over onto our other side, and again, just using your wee trim tool, do the same thing again. Pry in, these will all pop out. Oh, they are quite persistent, but they will pop out like so. And that will let you remove your second part. Okay, so our next stage after we have these two trims down and we have our 4 8mm is, if you have a look at your brake light, it's really hard to see, but at this area here and this area over here, you have a slight little cover. If you just stick a wee small knife or screwdriver or anything like the sorts in there, and just gently pry down. Oh, you'll see these covers will come off. Inside, up in here, you've got a little screw. Okay, so once you have that out, inside here you're going to have 2 screws. They are, what size are they? They are 225mm torque screws. So just unscrew both sides. There's one. Okay, so this is why I do this, so I can learn the mistakes. There is actually a 3rd bolt up in here. So at this stage we've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bolts out. Get your little trim tool and work your way along like so, pulling this panel down and remove this center panel. Okay, once you get to this stage, if you have a wee look in, you can see your wee LED load lights. So if you just push over in the wee tab, that will just release them down. Just give them a gentle wee push and that'll release that down. Take your wee connector off. By the way, we sell upgraded ones of these. They're a game changer, they're brilliant. Check out the website, these here wee lights. So you've got one on that side, and again, same in the other. Push it over, gently pull it down, take your wee connector out, set that aside at the minute, and then carry on taking off the rest of your center trim. Okay, so at this stage you can see we've got the panel off. What I did on this was on the LED brake light. I'll show you. I actually cut the 2 wires so that I could do this right on the bench. It's up to you. It's simply 2 wires that need snipped, and then you can just reconnect them again, because Ford in their wisdom haven't put a separate plug from the LED light, which is here. So there's no connector to disconnect that, so I've just snipped these 2 wires, and then I'm going to solder and heat shrink them. I've done this, as I say, more for purposes to make this video. You might be able to do this while it's on the car, but as I say, I've done it this way. So what I have lined up is, I still want my jellyfish lights to work. So what I've done is I've brought them as flush as I could and flush as I could. I'm using the center light with the center hole So I'm a wee bit OCD about things having to be in the middle, but yes, that's going to be your, you know, your exact measurement. So you've obviously got, ignoring the connectors in the end, you've obviously got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. So what my plan for these is to basically just to drill a hole here, which you're not going to see obviously once the vehicle's up, just with a drill piece, and then I'm going to disconnect the 5 wires and poke them through there. Okay, so just to recap, pardon me, at this stage we've got our center trim off. As I say, what I did was I snipped the 2 wires for the brake LED light, just to get this right off, to do it on the bench, or, you know, on the back of the truck. Makes it a lot easier. I'll put in a couple of wee connectors as well to join them up as well. Yeah, what we have is, say, what I'm doing, I don't want to obstruct my my jellyfish lights, because our AutoVolt ones are so awesome. Why would you want to? If you want, you can put this wherever you want. So at this stage, what I've done is I've centralized the brake light, or sorry, the center work light. I've drilled my hole. I used a 25mm hole saw for that. So at this stage, if we just mark our 2 parts that we're going to be drilling our hole for, so one there, we do have a middle one actually, so we'll take that center light out now. One here, and then we'll mark this middle one as well, and we'll show you that after we have the holes drilled. Okay, so at this stage I took the lights out. It ends up there's a further 3 in there. You only get 2 bolts in the kit anyway, and to be honest, that is never coming off. If you want, you could put another bolt in it, but you're definitely not going to need it. So what I did now, I put, because we're going to be restricted for space up in there, so I put the bolt head going down so that the nut, which you can't see anyway, is on this side. So our next stage is to put all our lights, make sure you've got that facing the right way obviously. Going to put all our lights back in, nip up all the Allen keys, feed the wires through our hole that we have made, and then we'll show you the wiring and how to connect everything back up here. Okay, so at this stage, just showing you, as I say, because I cut the brake light to get the wires right out to do it on the bench, I've just used these wee connectors. So what we'll do is we'll connect them back up once we have everything back in. Okay, so at this stage we have now put our trim back in with our lights. This is a very difficult part, because reason being is obviously you've got all the wiring in behind here and you don't have the space in here. Now how I found it, the easiest way to do was to get it clicked in along the front, put in your front wee 8mm bolts first, then shimmy your wiring about until you get the space, then put in your center too, and then finally from the top work it in. I'm going to be honest, it is a bit of a struggle to get all the wires in there. Do be careful that you don't pull obviously wires out for, you know, your high level brake light and all that there. It is a struggle. You're going to swear at it, but it does fit in. I mean, I've got it in, you know, it's all sitting there absolutely perfect. So the next stage, what we're going to do is our wiring. Okay, now the wiring, whenever you get it, might differ. It might not be the same colour as this, but if you look down in here, you will see in there a hole that your existing wiring is already gone down. So if you just feed your wire down through that hole, it will pop out and underneath. And as I say, this is more difficult for me even because I've got the EGR ruler on, so that'll bring your wire down to there. Put all your trims back on here. That's all this side of it finished. Okay, so yes, this is where we are at the minute now. Again, these wee trims can be a bit of a pig to get back in. Swear at them, I find helped. But yeah, so we're all in here. We're all in nice and flush. We did have a couple of wee clips break, but it's not going to fall off. This here, that's never going anywhere, and as I say, that's just with the 2 bolts on it. So that is where we are at the minute. These here are a brilliant wee idea. They're a remote control relay. So basically what happens is whenever you use the little remote control, which I have in my pocket here, it turns a relay on, it turns a relay off. There's different programs as well for it. You can have it on for a certain length of time. You can have it that you only press it and it stays on. Whenever you release it, it turns off. You can have it on, you can have it off. There's a lot of different ideas. So yeah, really handy for doing the likes of work lights, etc. Dead handy to wire in as well. Comes with all the AutoVolt wiring already on it, so you're going to have an inline fuse which basically goes to the red of your battery. You're going to have an earth wire which goes to any earth point on the vehicle, and then you're going to have an output. So this is where you're going to connect your work lights. Okay, so that's our relay all wired up. We've got our lights on, we've got all our trims on, we've got everything good to go. We've got a remote control. We've got lights on, we've got lights off. I think they're brilliant. It's as easy as that. As I say, you can, if you want, wire these in also to reverse lights. Now you will need to buy a reverse light piggyback loom. Sorry to turn them off because they're blind. You will need to buy a reverse light piggyback loom. You'll also need a relay. I can sell all that as a kit as well. If you're wanting to blind people whenever you're reversing by having these on, by all means. They would be obviously for off-road use only. So yeah, this is with the wee remote control. This remote control can also be programmed to come on momentarily, which basically means only whenever you hold the button the lights will go on. Whenever you let the button off, the lights will go off. You can have it on that stays on and off whenever you press the button off. You can have it that it'll stay on for a fixed length of time and then turn off. So if you're doing something outside and you only want it on for a few minutes or whatever, press it and it'll automatically turn off. You know, if you're locking up a gate, press it. By the time you get to the bottom of the road, it should be turned off automatically in case you forget about it. Brilliant idea. All on the website. AutoVolt. Check us out on TikTok. Check us out on Facebook, websites, and Instagram as well, I think. So yeah, thanks very much.